Thanks, future me. This week I am sitting down with my good friend, Frankie Garza. Frankie, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Thank you for having me. I'm super happy and excited to be here.
I am overjoyed to have you on the show. I've wanted to have you on the show for a very long time, and I'm glad that the stars have finally aligned and we're finally sitting down together to play a game. I could not be more excited.
Me too, because, I'm excited about the game, but, this is one of my bucket list podcasts, because I know we've talked and we've hung out sometimes, but, this is one of those podcasts that's some of my favorite podcast episodes are from this podcast. So, and, some of my favorite people have been on this podcast, so I'm very excited to finally cross it off.
And I'm happy to help you do that. But before we dive in and before we play our game, why don't you take a moment and let the audience at home know about anything you're working on, any cool podcasts you're a part of, that sort of thing.
Okay, yeah. I'm Frankie Garza. I am currently doing the Let's Steal a podcast, which is a Leverage rewatch podcast. And you can find that on audioentropy.com or on Twitter at Let's Stealcast. Also, if you go to audioentropy.com or if you go to my Twitter, Frankie Extra, Frankie is a extra, the pin tweet should be an episode of this kind of side every other month, but then that month we do 5 episodes podcast about sumo called Basho and Tell. Me and Eric from Inside the Master Studio and past guest in this podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Who played Contenders, I'm pretty sure.
He did indeed, you are correct.
We talk about sumo. He has been a fan for about a year. I've been a fan for about 3 months, and we decided to bring people on our journey. Anything else that I have? Oh yeah, I have an itch.io where I should put more games, but I'm bad at it. Right now, you can go and pick up for free my expansion. Well, not expansion. My what's it called for follow my quest?
Your quest, yes.
I wrote a fan quest for follow. So as long as you have the Ben Robbins game follow, you can go and pick up my quest at frankieextra.itch.io.frankieextra. I think that's how it works.
Yes, yeah.
It's called the Sentai, and it's basically if you want to use follow, which is one of my favorite games, to play a Power Rangers or Super Sentai or even Magical Girl adventure with that.
That's awesome, and I've read the Sentai. It's very good.
Oh, thank you.
People should go check it out. I love it. Now, also specifically, this week we are playing a game called By Pinfall or Submission. You are the writer of it, so why don't you tell us sort of the big picture before we dive in and start world building? And understand, I am very excited to get into this world building.
Me too. So, By Pinfall or Submission was my 2018 entry on the 200-word RPG challenge. This is the second year I've entered. Third entry. First year I did 2. This year I only did 1. I wasn't sure if I was going to enter. I haven't written in several months. I haven't written games in several months. When I wrote this, I hadn't written games for a long time. And I wasn't sure if I still had it or what I wanted to do. And then I started playing around with a deck of cards I had bought for $1 because I was like, I play games. I make games sometimes. I cards. And I've always been interested in telling stories through wrestling. And
that makes 2 of us.
There's a great game that already does this in the Powered by the Apocalypse system, which is Andy Paletta's Worldwide Wrestling RPG. But I wanted something that was more chain-based, more movement to movement to movement. I've always had this idea, and if you're a game designer and you want to steal it, go ahead and steal it, of kind of like a wrestling turn-based strategy game, XCOM but wrestling. Where you had the ring and then you had the characters move around, and I was like, okay, how could I make that with cards? And that's kind of how the idea of this came out. It's a game where 2 players have a deck, you each have hands, and then each cards represent a type of wrestling move, either a pin, submission, power moves, high flying, quick strikes. They have a score, and then you see who wins the pinfall or submission, or who wins the round. And there's a chance that you might be disqualified. That might also happen. But basically, it's the skeleton for which, if you're like us, you can tell cool wrestling stories. And I'm excited to see how this works, because I've only played it by myself to make sure, like, there was winners and losers.
Sure. All right. So we are going to be telling a wrestling story.
Yep.
And I am so excited. So let's build a wrestling company.
Yeah.
So where, when, what style, how realistic, what do we want this to look like? What kind of wrestling are we thinking? Are we thinking something real world or fantastical, modern day, past day, future day? Where's your heart at the moment?
Okay. At the moment, I played around with fantastical stuff, especially when I want to get my non-wrestling friends into it. I ran a couple of one-shots of monster wrestling, because I have a lot of friends who like monsters, but like they don't like wrestling. So that's how I got them. And then I've seen a lot of people do a lot of like, oh, it's basically superheroes but wrestling. I even tried to do that once. So I kind of want to do something different. And I'm thinking going realistic. Like, this is a real promotion in our world.
I like that.
Yeah, you're cool with that?
I think that's what I'm feeling as well. I think if we're going, as much as it's not me going with something different, I think if we're going real world, I want to go, like, very small with it.
Yes, I'm into it.
Because that's the wrestling that, like, speaks to my heart, is, like, a dirty gymnasium.
Yes, let's be in a bingo hall or a church or something like that. That's what I want. Like, we're wrestling...
I think it's... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, I want the feeling that we're wrestling in front of, at tops, 200 people.
Yeah, for sure. And I yeah, absolutely. I think it's like 100 to 125 people have shown up. I think I love the church idea, and I think we're in, like, the back, one of those big church meeting rooms, and we're in there, and I don't think the church is particularly thrilled that we're there, but they could use the money, and so we've run this wrestling show.
Yeah. Do you mind if I set us in, like, a location?
No, please.
Okay, let's be in one of my hometowns, my hometown of Brownsville, before, when I moved to the United States, before I came to San Antonio. So let me paint you a picture of what Brownsville is like.
Yeah, sure.
So Brownsville, the downtown area of Brownsville is right across the bridge to Matamoros, which is my other hometown.
Sure.
So, like, there's always a lot of traffic, pedestrian traffic. There's not a lot of car traffic, but it's also mixed in with, like, historic downtown. Like, there are buildings and there are churches, and so you'll have, like, this really beautiful old church next to, like, a really bad bar of, like, bad renown, next to, like, a high hip bar that new people are trying to make downtown happening, next to, like, a coffee place, next to, like, a tiendita where it's like a dollar store, next to, like, a fruta place. So it's this real weird thing, and this doesn't happen anymore, but when my memories of it when I was there is when I was there in college, and college is like 2 minutes away from there, the University of Texas at Brownsville that no longer exists. So, like, that's kind of like the vibe, I think, of the people who are going to be around. It's a mix of, like, tourists, college students, drunkards, and like, hip people that are like trying things out.
Yeah, and I think that since we're in a church, I've seen some photos of, like, some wrestling venues for promotions that I can't remember the names of that have run in churches. And so I think the detail that I want to add is that, like, we're in a beautiful old church, just surrounded with the most intricate, like, stained glass windows.
Yeah.
Like, obscenely detailed murals surrounding us.
There's like a big mural for La Virgencita in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
There's one for like San Pedro. There's there's roses, like murals on the roses with roses on them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful church, and I think I love the crowd that you've laid out, because I love that none of them sound like they're very excited.
No, which
is a part of it for me.
Yeah. I don't. Like, honestly, most of these people are probably not wrestling fans. I think there's a couple.
Yeah.
There's, like, the guy who has the local wrestling scene that he's had for the last 30 years. Yep. And he goes to every wrestling event, not only there in Brownsville, but, like, all across South Texas. And he goes to every single one, and he can tell you when the Guerreros came, and he can tell you when Mil Máscaras was here, by date, by match, and he's there. And I think that might be it, apart from other people who, have watched, like, WWE, and they heard wrestling was going to happen.
There's probably about half a dozen people in, like, Kevin Owens shirts. And they are not expecting. They do not expect what we are going to give them.
No, they do not at all.
So we've got our location, right? We've got this beautiful
church.
So what style are we? Are we a lucha promotion? Are we sort of an American indie, or sort of a deep south hardcore promotion? What are you thinking as far as like the promotion or promotions? Like, what if we want to blur styles together?
Yeah. What were you thinking? Because I mean, based on where we decided to place, I feel like there's definitely lucha in there. But I don't know if it's like, okay, we're taking lucha talent and then we're doing American wrestling matches, or are we doing Mexican wrestling matches with American talent, or is it just like a weird mix? And also, we're indie, so we probably have a couple of hardcore matches. I don't know. What are you thinking?
I think what it is, because I just watched an ECW documentary.
Oh, which one?
A few days ago. The 50 OMG moments of ECW. Okay. Would not recommend it. Okay. Was not very good.
I thought you were going to say, like, Beyond the Mad, or that other one that's more pro ECW that they did. Oh, no, good. The 50 OMG. Which one was Kevin Thorne?
Kevin Thorne, I don't even think he was on there.
Okay,
I don't think he ended up on there.
That's bad.
Hey, this is a sidebar, and this might end up in the episode, it might not. We'll play it by ear. But
I want to talk about
it. They were it was WWE produced, and so they covered, there were a lot of OMG moments that were not like a proper ECW oh my god moments that did not make the list. Good. They did no mention of mass transit, the time that New Jack stabbing someone, no reference.
I hate New Jack so much.
No reference. New Jack made the list, but only because he did a crowd dive, not because of all of the horrible things he did.
Not because he tried to kill someone by throwing him off a scaffold in the middle of a match.
Right. No. None of those things made it onto. Anyway, I think what it is, and I bring up the 50 OMG moments of ECW because there's that one of the things was Psychosis versus Rey Mysterio Jr., where they had their hardcore lucha match. And I think that's what it is.
Okay.
I think that's our promotion. Is it's like deep south style, like Memphis hardcore wrestling that has sort of blurred into lucha libre.
Yes.
Right? Like, and so there's that, and so like what it is lucha libre matches in which chairs and tables and weapons are also just frequently brought out and never and like rarely if ever disqualified, like, or knocked against.
Okay.
I think that's do you feel like do you like that? Are you feeling that?
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm just trying to. So is this a no DQ match, or is this just there happen to be weapon? It's one of those like referees are lenient, but they might still step in.
Yeah, they might DQ you, but I think commentary gets a lot of mileage out of oh, the referee doesn't want to call it. This match is too important.
Good.
Even if it's, the second match from the bottom of the card.
Great.
Okay, so we've got our style of wrestling, and now I think we just have to kind of figure out who we are and why we're fighting. Okay. We talked a little bit before recording and said that we're going to do a 2 out of 3 falls match for a title.
Yeah. I think this is like, I think there's no champion. I think this is their title match. Like, this is their first night with the title. Like, yeah. I don't know how they got it. I don't know how good the title is. I don't know if it's either... I have 2 ideas in my head. It's either they ran like an Indiegogo to make it, or it's just like a WWE replica title someone had, and they kind of like spray painted it.
I love the Indiegogo. I love the Indiegogo idea. But I think I'd like to add something to that and throw something in it, because I think we are fighting for like to crown a champion. Like, neither of us have the title, but I think it's because the previous champion vacated.
Good. Because the previous champion left.
Yep, they left, and I think we're playing it, or commentary is playing it like they got hurt, but they got a WWE tryout.
Good.
And they're off in Florida.
Yeah.
But we're bitter about that, so we are hardcore playing it like they got their back broken. So who is your what kind of character are you feeling? Like, what's your character? What are you thinking of for your character's background?
Okay, so I'm thinking of playing a non-binary wrestler.
Okay, sure.
And I'm thinking that they are a bigger person. I picture them somewhere between Canadian Earthquake and Karma.
Okay, sure.
Via like Brazo Dorado, or they're wearing a one piece that on the bottom it turns kind of like in a leotard.
Sure, I can see that.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of like airbrush Calacas and Skull Candy type thing.
Okay, I can dig that. I dig that a lot. That's real good.
And they're masked. I'm pretty sure they're masked.
I think, yeah, I could see that. I think I'm going to play also a masked wrestler.
Good.
I think pronouns he, his. And I think I am playing a repackaged, like, rocket under his ass jobber.
Okay.
The one guy that knows, that has seen the shows, knows that this is like a long-term thing. Like, that it is like the underdog's underdog, because that kind of character just speaks to me, right? Like, I immediately am attached to the pro wrestling's underdog. And I'm kind of picturing the picture that immediately popped into my head that drove me to the underground was Skullomania from Street Fighter.
Good.
And I think it is. I don't think I am a superhero. I don't think that I have a skull themed mask.
Okay, I was gonna say, is this gonna be skull versus skull?
Yep, now it is. Nope, we've turned it around. And I think I am. I'm gonna go with the Revenant is my name.
Okay.
The story being that, like, I think I was just like a jobber that like got lost a coffin match or something and came back in a skull and cross in like a skeleton themed lucha outfit. A little bit like, if you picture almost like, I'm thinking a red and black La Parka getup.
I love it.
Maybe with like epaulets.
Okay.
I like epaulets.
They're good.
And so, yeah, I think that's kind of my shtick, is that I came back in the mask, in the outfit, being like, I'm coming back. No more games. I've come back for vengeance. I am the Revenant.
Cool. I think for backstory, my person, I feel they're from Mexico, and they're like right across the river, so they're from Matamoros because there's a school there. Funny enough, that's where Daniel Bryan got his American Dragon mask.
All right.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say they probably got the mask from the same person. They have an elaborate, like, I'm thinking a lot of neon colors, neon pink, neon green mixed with black.
Yeah. Classic wrestling look.
Yes. And, like, the mask is kind of like a skull, but it also has, like, a flare on the top and maybe, like, a crown in the back. Like, you know, kind of like a cape thing that is, like, kind of like roses. It's very flamboyant. Very out there. And I think that they wrestled they trained in Mexico. They're somewhat young. They wrestled a couple of matches in Mexico, but then they had the opportunity to come to the US, and they've been doing small indie stuff around the valley.
Yeah. I like that a lot. So what is their name? What is their wrestling name?
So they were originally Calaca. But then they met a wrestler named Calaca, and they were like, well, I can't be named that. And they were going to be Calavera, but then they met another wrestler named Calavera, so they decided to call themselves Calacavera.
Calacavera. Oh,
Yes.
I love that. I love that so much. Oh, good. Okay, good. This is... And so, I guess the question is, I think this is... I'm going to throw this out there. I think this is a tournament.
Okay.
Right? I think if we're fighting for a vacated title, I think we're coming into a tournament situation.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, and so the question is, do Calacavera and the Revenant, like, have a history, or are we sort of just crossing paths for the first time as the two sort of big title contenders?
I kind of love the idea. I think it's hilarious that these two, like, skull-themed wrestlers have never wrestled or had any history with each other.
Yep, solid. I like it a lot.
And someone coming in is like, oh, are they, like, tag team partners? No. But they're both, yeah, we know. It's neither of them wants to change. Oh, okay.
Love it. And so... we mentioned Skull versus Skull, and I think the Revenant has 100% cut promos leading up to this of, like, my purpose, my destiny, my unfinished business is that belt. If I lose, if I don't take this home, poof, up in smoke. Like, I'm putting the stakes on the table that if the Revenant does not walk away with that belt, he just walks away. Returns to the ether from which he was born. A broken and vanquished spirit.
I think Calaca has cut something like, listen, Skolito, you think you're some sort of magic hero here, coming in, demanding a title? Yeah, you had a couple... Wait, who's the heel and who's the face before I keep cutting this?
That's a real good question. I think I'm a face into a tweener.
Okay, then let me go heel.
Alright.
You think you can come into my town, my pueblo, my cows, my casa, and just get the championship? The championship that is mine. I deserve that. I have hurt people to get that. And now they want to hold a tournament instead of giving me what's rightfully mine. That's fine. I'll play their little games. Sus jueguitos. But by the end of the night, that belt will be around CALACAVERAS' shoulders.
That belt is everything that I have come to this world in pursuit of. You think I don't remember who I was before? You think I don't remember? Hold on, I gotta think of a good good jobber name. You think I don't remember the life that Frankie the fisherman played? You think I don't remember his part in all of this? He was nothing. He was a body to be thrown around. He was an empty vessel. When I was put in that coffin, when I was broken, mentally, physically, spiritually, in the fires of nothingness, I was reborn with a single purpose. Win that title. Achieve that which I have never achieved. And use that to set right the violence and the crime and the injustice that has plagued this promotion since Frankie the fisherman?
Mm-hmm.
Joey the fisherman? I don't remember what first
Frankie.
name was.
You said Frankie the fisherman.
Frankie, the misery that has plagued this promotion since Frankie the fisherman walked in all smiling and cargo shorts. I'm going to make it all right. That starts tonight. That starts with this match. And CALACAVERAS, I have nothing against you. You are not a part of my holy mission. But you are in my way. And I'm going to stop you.
I want to see you. I've enjoyed seeing you go through this tournament, rung by rung, going up this ladder, putting effort, putting excellent performances, going one step closer every time, just because it's gonna be that much dulce, that much sweeter when I knock you the hell down. That's all I got.
Yeah, no, I was trying to think of a good... I think at that moment, I honestly think that the Revenant just, like, stands up. I think this is a contract signing. I think that's where we are. Stands up.
Also, I think this is being... both the contract signing and the event itself, it's probably being, like, live streamed on Twitch. And maybe that's how they get most of their stuff. That's how they got to pay for the title and maybe even the ring itself. They don't get a lot of local people, but they probably give away tickets just so it looks like there's more people. But mostly they just get a bunch of people on Twitch watching them.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think this was a promotion. I think this was a promotion that for a long time, like, was so super kind of just like, you know, kind of almost stuck in the past a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of see, like, a few young people, like, with internet savvy, like, hooking up a Twitch stream and, you know, running an Indiegogo.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of, like, lifting, like, adding sort of a cutting edge element, but, like, in a way that is very respectful to the fact that, like, this is a promotion that has been around and has done things a certain way for a very long time.
Yeah. Like, originally, maybe it was just, like, one camera, or maybe, like, a phone camera, but now they have, like, two, they have two cameras, one on each side of the ring, like, pointing at each side, and then one that points at the announcers, at the commentators, and a little bit of the crowd, and they have, like, a mixer, and they have someone in the back, like, doing all the technical stuff from a laptop, like, fuck, let it not crash.
Yep. Was that you in character saying that, or was that you out of character saying something was crashing?
Oh, that was me in character.
Okay, thank goodness.
No, that was me in character of the college kid who runs the laptop.
Gotcha. Podcasting, you gotta check.
Sorry for scaring you.
No, you're good. Yeah, and I think what happens is the Revenant stands up, flash papers the contract.
Good.
The contract lights up, and just, like, walks out of the ring, and the Twitch chat just explodes. The crowd is just confused.
Good.
And this was definitely the first... So, I think this is also the same event.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
I think this is how we started, like... Because I don't think this is a promotion that has a lot... That has, like... Affords a lot of continuity. So I think they've had to have, like... The contract signing starts the show. Mm-hmm. The 2 out of 3 falls match ends the show. Like, they have to present that to the audience that's there to make sure that... Because no one's going to remember this except for that one guy.
Yeah. Also, I don't think that the card's, like, super deep. I think it's maybe, like, 5 matches. And there's for sure... Like, the second match is for sure, like, a Battle Royale with... Like, a Royal Rumble-style Battle Royale with, like, people playing 2 or 3 different characters with different masks just because they don't have that many people to look for it to look bigger. And then there's like
100. Yes.
Yeah, and then there's like 2 more matches, maybe 3 more matches, and then the title match.
Yeah. And so we are coming on. What's the match that went right before us? I think it was better, and whatever it was, I think it was better and longer than it was supposed to be.
Okay, how about this? It was not local it was someone of renown, but not like super renowned. Like, they've never been in WCW, WWE, but they have been in like AAA, and like they have a name people understand. And they're doing this as a favor to someone. And they're like, I can do a quick 10-minute match or whatever. And maybe they're doing it as a favor to whoever they're wrestling with. And then in the middle of the match,
I love that.
It was supposed to be like, quick exhibition. And it just... No, you know what will happen? This visiting person was supposed to go over. In the middle of the match, they called an audible. And he put the other person over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that there was... So I think he puts the other person over, and there's like... Because I think what makes it run long is that there's like a long showing of respect.
Yeah.
Like, our visiting superstar holds out his hand, and like they do a whole thing where the other wrestler, they're not sure if they're gonna shake his hand, and then they finally do shake hands, and they do the arm raise, and they both point at each other.
And like for the first time in the night, the live crowd has actually really, really gotten into it.
Yeah, and so, like, we have that to go up against. Like, they've cut into our time, and the audience has just seen someone they recognize, and we have to match that.
Like, they've seen someone who, like, even if they don't know by name, they recognize, like, the mask that this person has.
Yep. And so I think we come out... What does CALACAVERAS' entrance look like?
I want to say there's roses projected from like a light. There's a light that's in the shape of a rose, kind of like on the entrance going up and down because they only have the one light.
Yeah, right.
And it's like a red light, and they come in their like with a cape and the mask and the whole outfit, and then kind of they take the cape off in the middle of the ramp. And then, like, regular lights come up, and then they make the rest of the entrance very, somewhere between an Exotico and Bobby Roode, I want to say.
Yeah. I love it. And I think you make your way to the ring, and I think Revenant's entrance has pyro. Or at least has, like, a little bit of pyro. And I think there's a lot of panic, like, making sure that I don't think the church is super happy about it, but I think there's, like, 2 tiny flame jets that, like, hit as I walk through the curtain. And there's about, like, 6 ring crew members with fire extinguishers, because it's gone bad before.
No, and people are, like, whispering. There's a lot of talking during this, because, like, they're like, wait, are those fireworks? Are those legal fireworks? Or are those not is that a trick? Like, people don't know if you have fireworks or not, and if so, if they're the ones that you can legally buy or not.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I think I kind of walk through the two sort of firework streams, and I think I have, like, legal fireworks smoke bombs kind of tucked in various parts of my, like, entrance gear. So I am just billowing, like, purple, black, red smoke. And it's not great, because it's not a well-ventilated room, but, like, it's got ambiance.
There's if the people there turn around in the back, they can see like someone opening the door to the place with a fan, trying to like make sure they can ventilate it out.
There's definitely some like there's definitely been some tweets of just close-up shots of disabled smoke alarms, and people are like, "Hey, that ain't legal. You can't do that." But I get to the ring, I'm billowing smoke, I take off my jacket just as, like, the smoke bombs quit blowing. And I've got kind of a Hiroshi Tanahashi jacket, where it's, like, kind of cut up, and it's got flame decals, and I take it off, and I'm wearing my skeleton one-piece outfit, and I kind of just stand there. I think that they do the whole rigmarole for entrances, right? Like, they have that one spotlight that they hit on us both real hard. And I think Revenant is just dead still and dead silent the whole time.
I think Calacavera is like leaning against the ropes. You know, they're tall, they're big, so they're like leaning against the ropes in the corner. They have, like I said, their one piece. They already took the cape off. The crown of like flowers is it's like they also are also able to take it off from the mask, like it's a detachable piece. So now they just have like the one piece that's like a singlet leotard thing, and then like fishnet tights that you can't really tell, but if you got close enough, you could see there's like skulls there, but the lighting is not great. And then they have some boots underneath.
All right, and so I think we're ready to start our match.
Yeah,
I'm feeling ready. So let's go through how the game is played. We're both going to draw 5 cards from a deck of playing cards. On our turn, we're going to simultaneously play 1 card out of our hand to 5. Is that correct? And the cards have different abilities. They represent different things. Hearts represent pinfall attempts. Diamonds represent submissions, clubs are power moves and high flying maneuvers, and spades are quick strikes. We compare the values of the cards, the highest number wins, and depending on what suit is the winning number, different things will happen to our hand that will determine how the different falls of our match go. So, I've got my 5 cards. I am ready to throw down when you are.
Okay. I think, did I put it there? I think the idea was that, trying to remember because it's been a while, you could play, let me see what it says. You can play, let's say, as many hearts as you want, or as many, like, diamonds as you want, or as many clubs as you want, to see who gets the highest.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what I got here.
So as long as they're the same suit, you can play multiples and add them together.
Yes.
Got it. Got it.
Face cards are worth 10, and then everything else is worth what it says on the card.
Except for aces, which are move reversals, in which you discard the ace, take what your opponent played, and that becomes what you have played.
Yes. So that's always the risk. That's the idea of like the risk if you're like, I have five diamonds, let's say. Well, if you play the 5 diamonds, your opponent could play that ace, and that could be bad for you.
Yep. All right, I am ready to go.
I am also ready to go.
All right. Play your cards. I have played a 7 and a 4 of spades, making an 11 of spades for quick strikes.
I have played an ace of diamonds.
Oh no.
So I think... so what type of strikes were you going for?
I think they are sort of just kind of wild, very big wide arm, like forearm shots. kind of like throat thrusts and big open hand punches. Very, very kind of American sports entertainment punches.
Cool. I think with the Ace of Diamonds, I like grab you kind of like in a submission move, like one of those punches, but I don't keep going to submission. I just like grab you and then punch you myself and push you away. Since I'm playing what you had. So
yeah.
What suit did you play?
That was spades. That was quick strikes.
Yeah. If spades wins, opponent must discard hand. If opponent has an empty hand, nothing happens. So at this point, you're gonna discard your current hand, and then you're gonna draw up to 5 next turn.
Oh, I had a reversal. I'm very disappointed. I am very disappointed.
I'm gonna. I just do that, and I'm just gonna draw up to 1 for the next turn.
All right. Next round, I am ready.
I am also ready.
All right.
I think I'll go first this time. Let's do it.
Feel free.
Whoever wins the last. So yeah, whoever wins, quote unquote, wins the last round. They have like the momentum of the match, so they'll go first. They'll reveal first.
Yeah, I like it. That's perfect.
I have a Jack of Diamonds and a King of Diamonds. So that's 20 diamonds.
I have a Jack of Hearts and a 9 of Hearts. That is a 19 of Hearts. You have won the round with diamonds that are... Describe your submission move.
So I think they... So it's early in the match, right? I think they go for a bear hug.
I think so. That's a good, solid early match, especially because I think we both went very hard in the early exchanges. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of they were quick strikes. Like we went hard. There was probably a chop battle. Mm-hmm. And so I think that we're slowing it down with a big bear hug. Yeah,
and I think during the whole bear hug, CALACAVERAS is just trash talking the whole time. This is what you wanted? Is this the match you wanted? Is this what you came here? So if Diamonds wins, opponent must discard full hand. If opponent has no hand, they tap out. So as long as you still have cards left in your hand, you're good.
I did still have cards in my hand. I played it. I played things close to the chest. I could have extended further and forced myself into a tap-out situation, but I didn't, because I had 3 cards left in my hand, so I discard my hand, I drop to 5 cards.
Okay.
Alright, this is an interesting hand, but I think I'm ready.
I'm gonna draw 2 cards. I'm gonna go with this. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this.
Alright.
So, I'm going with a king and 8 of hearts. That's 18 of hearts.
I've gone with a queen and a 10 of spades. That is a 20 of spades.
Okay, if spades wins, opponents must discard hands. If opponent has empty... Okay, so I discard my whole hand, and spades is quick strike. So what do you do?
I'm in the bear hug. Mm-hmm. I'm close to giving up, right? Mm-hmm. Bam. Box the ears. Forearms right on each side of the head. I box the ears. You kind of stumble back. And it's just a series of kind of MMA style body shots. A lot, just real quick, kind of right, left hook jabs. Working over the body, softening you up that way. As I'm just I know that I have to basically beat you down. I can't outpower you, I just have to overwhelm you.
Yeah, and I think they start retreating a little bit, and maybe they even fall down to one knee at the end of your combo or your moveset.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. I have drawn up to 5. Since you have momentum, you go first.
I have played the Ace of Spades.
Oof! I have played a queen, a 7, and a 6 of clubs. So that is 17, 23 of clubs. So that's yours now. Clubs is power moves / high flying. And if club wins, opponents must discard from deck equal to the number difference. Since you play the reversal, that number difference is 23. So I have to discard 23 cards from my deck. I'll do that while you tell me how you reverse that. And what do you do?
That sounds great. So I think what it is I give you one big right hook and you stagger back. And and you stagger back into a corner. You run at me in the opposite corner. You catch me with an avalanche. You know, the whole big thing. I stagger forward. You grab me. You go to throw me out of the ring, but I catch the ropes because it's power moves and high flying. I catch the ropes. I jump up and I just springboard. So I'm on the second rope, holding onto the third. I kind of spin around and springboarding off of that second rope. I catch you with a spear right in the gut, and you just crumble.
Ugh.
And I kind of roll to my feet, and I climb the turnbuckle, and I just kind of point to both sides, and I'm like, it's time to break you. As I hop back down, and you kind of climb up, and I think I'm gonna cap it off with you climb up, you kind of stagger to your feet, clutching your stomach, basically your ribs, and I real quickly flip backwards, land, and catch you with a Russian leg sweep, right back onto your back.
Good. I think CALACAVERAS does the Terry Funk selling of kind of once they hit the mat of shaking, they're in so much pain, their body's just moving
Yep. Yep. And I think I stand up and I am emotional. You know, the mask is part of it, right? I'm not just you can't, but my body language is just shockingly still. And I think we see a little bit of a flashback.
Okay.
To Frankie the fisherman, who is wearing cargo short. I'm going to say, no, swim trunks.
Okay, I was going to say, are they cargo jorts?
He's a fisherman, so they're they're boating shorts.
Good.
Sunglasses. Faux hawk.
Good.
A whole lot of celebration. We see a Frankie the fisherman match that ends in a loss. As he just celebrates a bunch and is cheering and trying to hype up the fans. Very white meat baby face of yeah, come on everybody, and just gets grabbed off of the second turnbuckle, Germaned, and pinned. And so we flash to the present, and it's just emotionless.
Yeah, and I like the contrast of the emotionless, and then I'm on the floor, almost yelling, ah! So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I love that. I love it.
Okay. Have you drawn up to 5, or you just need to draw one? Okay.
Yes.
You have control of the match, so you go first.
All right. I am playing a 7 of hearts and a queen of hearts for a 17 of hearts.
Okay, I am playing a queen of spades and a 5 of spades for 15 of spades. So you win. Hearts. If heart wins, opponent must discard 3 cards from their hand. If unable, opponent is pinned. So I discard 1, 2, 3, which I had a hand of 5. So I think this is a 2 count. I think this is even a 2.5 count.
Yeah. And I think you kick out almost, you're kind of throwing a fit. Your body is you're doing that big sell, and I think that's when you're able to throw me off, right? You're just and you kind of just get the shoulder up. And I just kind of start walking the ring in a circle, just waiting for you to get up. I am gonna throw down. When you're ready.
I have Gar in my full hand now, so I am ready.
drew one too many cards, so I'm going to put one card at the bottom of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
This will not be in the episode, because this is not interesting. Just going to randomly pick one of the cards, put it at the bottom of the deck. See what I got. I'm gonna throw down a 5 and a 9 of clubs. Clubs are power moves or high flying, so that is a 14.
I have an ace of spades.
No.
So that's a reversal. With a quick strike, I'm reversing your power move half flying. What were you gonna do?
I think my power move was, or my high flying was, I'm like stalking, and as you start to get up, I climb the turnbuckle to basically like kind of. I think it's a top turnbuckle high risk like flying tornado DDT.
Okay, good.
So I fly the ropes, I catch you, and then spin around and DDT you, but you catch it and reverse it while I count out 14 cards.
Uh-huh. You're not as bad as I am, but yeah, that hurts. I think you're going for a 1080 and they catch you, and then they throw you back up so that you're not in the DDT position, and as you fall down, they just power slam you down with the energy of the gravity taking you down.
And this is, I think, the first time in the match that I really show emotion, because that fucking hurt.
Yeah.
And so I'm finally just like, ah! And I'm like rolling around. It's not a pleasant scene.
Calacaveras is also like screaming, because like they're still in pain at the same time. So like the glowy, showy has kind of like moved by the wayside. They're like, after they do that, they kind of like lay against the ropes again, like, and they slowly start to compose themselves while you're on the ground. That was one card, so I'm only going to draw one card. See what we're going to do this time.
I've drawn up to 5.
Oof. I'm scared, but I think this is my best bet. Okay. I have control, so I'm going with a jack and a 5 of hearts.
Oh no, I played the jack and the 5 of spades.
Okay,
On a tie, ties are a botch, crowd boos, and we both discard our hands.
Good. So I think since I was going with hearts, I think I was going for a pin. I was just gonna fall like on top of you. So what do you do that turns this into a botch? What do I not see that you're doing, or like what do we not communicate well that this goes wrong?
I think I am rolling to my feet. I think I start to roll to my feet, so when you start to collapse for the pinfall, you just fall, like, you kind of fall on my back and lay there for a second, like, expecting the ref to count, but, like, I'm face down, so the ref's like, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, you know what?
And we both kind of just have to climb to our feet.
I don't think it's booze, I think it's laughter.
Yep.
And
which I think is worse.
Yeah, I think there's a couple you fucked up chants.
Yep, for sure.
Oof, okay. Let's see what we're gonna do here. Okay.
Alright. I got mine. If you had momentum previously, so I'll let you have keep momentum. Tell me what you got.
I have a 7, a 3, and a queen of hearts. So that's 20 of hearts. What do you have?
I have a queen and a 10 of diamonds, so a 20 of diamonds.
So I think they wanted to redo the spot, and they were mad, and they were gonna grab you and do the whole thing over again. So what happens? They go in to grab you to do the power slam again. What happens? And there goes our entire hands. By the way, again.
Yep. And I think what happens is, I think you go to grab me, and I think that it's, like, a later point in the match. So I try to, basically kind of powerbomb myself a little bit. because you kind of grab me in the shoulders. I start to flip, and you just kind of like drop me, and I'm just flat on my face again. And we're both just kind of like, what? And it doesn't even look like the last spot got some laughter because it looked like we obviously messed up. This people are just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, like, is that a move? Or are they shooting? Like, people online are like, wait, is CALACAVERAS just shooting now?
Like, what's happening? All right, so give me the next exchange.
I have a 2 and an 8 of diamonds. That's a 10.
I have an 8 and a king of hearts.
Okay, so hearts, that's a pin.
Yep.
Those were my last 2 cards in my hand, so I do not kick out.
All right.
Tell me
So
how that looks.
I think what finally happens is like I kind of collapse. But I collapse, but I kind of roll through it. Like, we end up playing it off where I kind of roll through it, and, I kind of call a little bit of an audible. I think people in the front row hear me just be like, victory roll. And I kind of, like, follow through on my, like, power bombing myself. And I go between your legs. I basically, like, flip you over and score essentially like a flash pin.
Yeah.
Because, like, we're both kind of disoriented with, like, the match not going great.
Yeah. And
so we basically, like, mix things up and basically get a quick pin out because there was supposed to be a lot more stuff happening.
Yeah, I think the sequence was I was gonna do the power bomb that was gonna pin you. You were gonna kick out, and then you were gonna do, like, a signature finisher on me. And that was going to be, like, this big moment. You were supposed to win that fall, but, like, it was supposed to be a much bigger deal.
Yeah. So I get a flash pin, and the crowd is like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. But the crowd this is supposed to be, like, an emotional, like, moment, or you're supposed to be kind of in awe of my supernatural power, and instead you're just kind of like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
All right.
So, are we gonna go for the next fall?
Yeah.
Good. So, I think I'm doing a quick shuffle right here.
All right.
So, I think, like, the commentators are probably, like, they're trying to sell it, like, oh, that no one expected that.
And they're just like, oh, yeah, what? The resilient spirit of the Revenant.
Yeah. The Revenant is known for ingenuity and creativity.
Sure are. Yeah, they learned that in the underworld, maybe.
When you're dead, you have to be very on your toes. You have to know. You never know who's gonna come and give you a deal. If there's a river, if there's a ferryman, it's a very quick win.
A lot of devil's bargains have been played, so this makes sense.
And we didn't see the Revenant's finisher, the Devil's Bargain, show up at all. So we still have that to wait for.
Fuck, Frankie, that's so good. Damn it. Okay, yes, good. All right, so the next fall starts.
Okay, it's good enough. Most of my deck got discarded, so it's not like it wasn't already shuffled.
So should I reshuffle my deck, or am I still going? Am I exhausted? So I'm going with the cards that I've got still played.
I don't know. What do you want to do? I think you should reshuffle it, unless you think
I'm gonna reshuffle.
You should reshuffle it. It's a new.
All right, I'm gonna reshuffle.
It's a new. It's a new fall.
Yeah. All right.
If I hadn't lost by running out of a deck, we could have maybe tried it like that and see how long our decks lasted. I
was pretty close to an empty deck.
Yeah.
All right.
Once again, I have dropped my cards. I
draw my 5 cards.
So the cards that fell, that's going to be my hand. There were exactly 5 cards that fell. So.
Oh, nice, excellent.
Good.
All right. So, Why don't, would you like me to carry through momentum in the second fall?
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
you won the last fall, so definitely.
I'm throwing down a king and an 8 of hearts. That is an 18.
Okay, I am only responding back with a king of spades. That's a 10. So,
all right.
Hearts. Opponent must discard 3 cards. I do so. And I only have 1 card left in my hand.
I think what happens is I, like, basically, the second fall starts and I just kind of rush you.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, like, tackle you, bowl you over, and grab, and kind of, like, sliding, I grab your legs and just try to pin you down for, like, and I think it's a 1 count. Like, I think you're fired up, and you just throw me off.
Good, yeah. There's, like, a little bit of air you even get there.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay, I have drawn up.
I am going to throw down a queen, a 3, and an 8 of clubs. That is a 21.
Okay, I am also going with clubs, but I have a queen, a king, and a 9 of clubs. So that's 29. So it's not 29. As bad. So, because you got 21, right?
21.
Yeah, so you only have to discard 8 cards.
8 cards.
And clubs is power moves or high flying. So I think what happens here is...
I have a suggestion.
Okay, tell me.
Forearm contest. It's an indie match.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a forearm contest, except, like, the thing that wins by Calacavera is basically, like, a clothesline from hell.
Yeah. And I'm just in a heap.
Yeah. It's like forearm, and then, like, Calacavera kind of, like, goes back a little bit, like, oh, that one last hurt, and then just throws themselves with all their, like, body behind that forearm.
And it's just, Revenant is just in like, a messy heap. I think there's a little bit of blood starting to pool in his, like, the nose of his mask, like, it's starting to turn, like, the bits of white skull, or, like, the red of his, like, skull, like, design on his mask is just getting real dark. And like, if you're close, you can just notice that there's a little bit of blood.
Oof. Going color in here. Okay, so I think the next thing I have is a 7 and a 3 of hearts.
I have thrown a 10 and a 5 of hearts.
Okay, so you take that.
Yep.
And hearts, so I have to discard 3 cards. And I have exactly 3. So tell me how you go for a pin.
I think you get close. I think you get close, and I think, like... Oh, I kind of like this. I think I'd go for, like, a schoolboy roll-up. And I think commentary has started, like, really leaning into the resilient, like, the clever angle. And I think the crowd is starting to buy it a little bit more. Now that I'm kind of playing a little more of that plucky underdog and a little less of that, like, Undertaker monster thing, the crowd is starting to buy it a little more.
I'm telling you, Juan, the Revenant is the most ingenuitive, they don't know if that's a word or not, but they're still saying it, ingenuitive wrestler that we have ever seen. You never know what they're gonna pull out. A schoolboy, a crucifix pin, a la magistral. They can pull any quick pin out of their evil mask.
It's truly amazing. It's the kind of, like, devilish calculations happening in his head right now. You can really see that, like, it seems like even when he's on the mat, he still just has control of the situation.
He sees everything. He can see into your soul, and that's how he knows what you're gonna do.
It's truly terrifying. And I'm gonna play for my next round of cards.
I'm gonna draw.
I am playing
3, 4, 5. I got too excited with commentary. There we go.
No, it's fine. I am loving this. Let me just
grab what I'm gonna do real quick. Okay, good. I have what I'm playing. I have separated.
All right. I am throwing down a jack and a 2 of clubs. That is a 12.
I am throwing a queen, a jack, and a 5 of diamonds. That's 25 of diamonds.
25 of diamonds. All right. Diamonds win. I discard my hand.
Yeah, if you had no hand, you would tap out. So, I think what happens here is you went for that schoolboy, and I think they just raised their legs and they put you in a kind of like in a triangle choke.
Yep.
And they just start extending your arm, not shooting, but working. But they have the arm and they have your arm and your head, and they're just yelling. They say yes, they give up. They say yes, they give up. As the ref gets close to you.
And I think how I get out of it is literally I just grab, I do the super strong thing where I just grab your hands and pull them apart. And you struggle and I just free myself and climb to my feet, and I'm breathing heavy and I'm hurt. And I just kind of point at you with the one finger, and the crowd's like, oh. And I am ready to play my next exchange.
Okay, I'm playing a 10 and a 9 of spades.
I am playing a jack and a king of diamonds. That is a 20.
Okay, diamonds wins. Opponent must discard full hand. So you're going for a submission as well. Mm-hmm. I think what CALACAVERAS was gonna go is maybe they were gonna rush you.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do?
I think I just kind of sidestep it, and immediately as you're running by, lock you in a sleeper and do the I lock you in a sleeper. I wrap my legs around your torso, and I just start choking. I'm just hanging on for dear life.
And I think, since I'm still the heel, I think what happens here is it's foot on the ropes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It looks like it's almost CALACAVERAS. They're almost out, but they stumble into the ropes and they have their foot in between the ropes, and the referee it goes to you to call it out.
And the crowd is audibly disappointed that you've gotten to the ropes. As we go into our next exchange, which is, I have a 9 and a 5 of diamonds, so a 14.
I have an ace of diamonds.
Oh no!
So your diamonds is submission. So I reverse it. So I have now a 14 of diamonds.
Yep.
You must discard your hand.
All right.
I think. Not submission. I think they're kind of playing up the being woozy, and they're like, oh no, I can't. And maybe you approach, and the moment you approach, they grab you again with the bear hug, and they just start laughing it out like, oh, you believe me? Oh, no, this is where you go. No.
That's so good. All right, I got my next exchange, and I'm just screaming and flailing and struggling. I can't quite get out of it though.
Okay, I have mine, and I got lucky because the card just drew. That's what I'm playing. An ace of hearts.
Oh. I played a king, an 8, and a 9 of spades. I played a 27 of spades.
Oof.
Thankfully, it was spades, and if spades wins, I discard my hand. Yeah. Nothing happens on an empty hand. So, but...
It wasn't clubs, because then... that's why they're power moods. Yeah.
Clubs at a loss. Clubs at a just cold lost.
But I like the... If we can talk real quick about the game, I like the ace mechanic, because you only have 4. Mm-hmm. If that. If you don't discard them. So it's not like it's going to be reverse. You have 4.
Yeah. You have to decide when to use them, and I there were times when I consciously did not use one, and then lost a hand and watched that ace slip away, and it hurt.
They're very precious. I have drawn.
I'm
my
ready
card.
for my next exchange.
I am. Okay, I am ready.
All right.
I have a 10 and a 5 of hearts, so 15.
I have thrown down an ace of spades.
Good. So, the spades, the reverse, so you have now my 15 of hearts, so you reverse my pin attempt into your own somehow.
Mm-hmm. I think
I discard my hand.
Or I think what it is what I think it looks like is you go for a jackknife powerbomb pin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you put me up in the powerbomb position, and I just, like, reverse it into kind of a Hurricane Rana, and just kind of, like, I kind of Hurricane Rana you and just lock in the pinfall that way.
Great. And I think this is a 2. So last one was this is a 2. Like, 1, 2, kick out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think CALACAVERAS looks flustered and frustrated, and kind of like they're like shaking the ropes, and they're like, I can't. They feel like everything they do, the Revenant has an answer for.
That's the devil's bargain. That's how. He's real tricky. So for the next exchange, I have played a queen, a 9, and a 7 of hearts.
Ooh, okay, so
that is a 26.
We're gonna do. Yeah, I don't think I beat that. I have a 3, a 7, and a 6 of clubs, so that's a 16.
So that is hearts, so you're going to discard 3 cards from your hand. If you can't, you get pinned.
I have 2 cards. So I think what happens here, I think it's a kick out at 3 and 1 seconds.
Yeah.
Tell me what the pin is like.
The pin is, I think it is the devil's bargain. I think we've heard a lot of promos about like the devil's bargain, and I think we finally see it. And it is it's sort of I'm trying to decide. I think it's somewhere between La Mystica, where it's like the spinning like takedown, and La Magistral, where it's like the step over arm trap like roll up. So I kind of hit the ropes. You climb to your feet just in time for me to like not quite clothesline you, but spin around almost as though I'm gonna hit like a sling blade, and I catch you. I spin around and I just kind of like take you down onto your back, and then like I finish the rotation and I catch your leg in one kind of fluid like twirling pinfall takedown, and you're just disoriented enough where I get that second pinfall. And
I think we got the crowd. I think the place.
Oh yeah, I think
the place erupts.
And I think I'm celebrating in a way that the Revenant was never supposed to.
Yeah.
But like Frankie the Fisherman absolutely did. Like, I'm celebrating in a very familiar way. And backstage, the booker's just like, alright, I gotta retool the character.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those, like, I mean, this is how you were booked, this is how the match was supposed to go. So, like, quietly, CALACAVERA, like, slips. They quietly, like, they yell at the ref a little bit, but then they, like, quietly slip out as you celebrate.
And I think you're walking up the makeshift ramp, like, you're walking up the ramp, and you just hear, hey. And the Revenant points at you and, like, nods. And it's like, oh no, that's a definite sign of respect.
And I think CALACAVERA stops, turns back, and then turns back around and walks away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, these two are definitely going to team up at some point, and it's going to be real satisfying.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be so good.
I And you won the first official game of my Pinfall and Submission.
And it was so much fun! Oh my gosh, that game,
really
I genuinely adore how that game plays.
I think, honestly, I'm so glad that you were like, oh yeah, let's do each one a deck, because I think it plays way better with each player having their own deck.
I think that's how it's got to play, right? Because I think then you're like managing your own deck, you're watching how that... I think that would be an official rule I would add into any subsequent revisions, is that each player has a deck. Because then you could also... That also opens up tag matches, right? Like, then you also have... Each player has their own deck.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also have like... I don't know if I'll ever write them, because, but I have ideas for, like, how you could make this into a last man standing. And maybe, like, you can do the deck over and over during a certain amount of time, and however many times you get a pinfall of submission, or something to do with a ladder match where you can like pay cards to get up the ladder or something. I'm not sure.
I think Frankie, this game real good. This game real good.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy you liked it. I'm so happy.
I loved it.
It worked all right and it played well. It's great. And like that last hand, I could have gone for something else that was gonna lose. That was only 2 cards less, but I was like, no, I have to go all in. I have to go all in.
You gotta. And that's what makes the game so much fun, is that like you're looking at your cards, and you have to like. There were times when I was like, oh, I could hold this card back.
But like the thing with holding them is like, okay, yeah, I can hold it, but there's a good chance I'm gonna discard it if I don't win. So I need to be confident in what I have, and hope they don't have an ace.
Yeah. Frankie, thank you so much for coming on Party of One. This was a blast.
Thank you so much for having me. I had an incredible time.
So real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work online?
You can find me at Twitter, and at Frankie Extra. The E of Frankie is the E of Extra. Once this episode comes out, I'll reshare the link of my Pinfall and Submission, and also there on my Twitter you have my itch.io /Frankie Extra, where you can pick up if you think this was fun and you like Sentai and the game Follow, you can pick up the Sentai for free on there at my itch.io. I also have a couple of other like silly actual video games that I'm just messing around with. Don't worry about those. Just pick up, follow, and maybe one day I'll upload the other stuff I have.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was a blast, and I am going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Frankie for coming on to the show. That game was perfection. Be sure to check out all of Frankie's work. Let's Steal a Podcast, Bash Show and Tell, their games work. All of it's great. All of it's amazing. You will not regret a second of it. Links in the show notes. Also follow Frankie on Twitter at Frankie Extra. That's Franki Extra on Twitter. Then while you're on Twitter, follow us at Party of One Pod. Like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/Party of One Podcast. And join our Discord community at bit.ly/Party of One Discord. If you enjoyed the show, consider leaving us a nice iTunes review, a social media shout out, or a word of mouth recommendation to a friend. All of those things helps new listeners find the show, which helps us do bigger, better, and cooler things. You can also consider backing our Patreon at patreon.com/Party of One Podcast. Now, if you listen to the show and thought, I just want to hear another 45 minutes to an hour of Jeff Stormer talk to one other person about role-playing games every single week, boy, do I have a podcast for you. All My Fantasy Children is a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast powered by you. Every week, my best friend Aaron Catano Saez and I take a listener prompt, we spin it into a fantasy character, and we populate a shared universe one story at a time. Episodes drop every Friday at allmyfantasychildren.com. Party of One is produced and edited, as always, by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran, featuring the D&D Sluggers. Interested in coming onto the show? Whether you are a podcaster, game designer, professional wrestler, writer, actor, comedian, musician, film critic, kaiju, financial guru, or you just love a good role-playing game, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And with all that said, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance, and as always, party on, everybody. Hey, party people! Welcome welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I am your host, as always, Jeff Stormer. This week on the show, I am joined by, honestly, one of my favorite people, my dear, dear, dear friend, Frankie Garza, for a game of By Pinfall or Submission. By Pinfall or Submission is Frankie's entry into the 200-word RPG challenge. It is a tactical, playing card-based role-playing game of professional wrestling in-ring action. It is a delightful and fascinating little game that I'm so happy we got to play on the show. Also, it's a wrestling episode. How am I not going to be excited? I'm also delighted to have Frankie on the show because Frankie is amazing and they do amazing work, and I'm very excited. Frankie is a game designer. You can find their work at Frankie Extra. That's FRANKI extra.itch.io. They are also a podcaster. They host Let's Steal a Podcast, a Leverage Rewatch podcast, and Basho and Tell, a podcast about the world of sumo. Their podcasts are great. Games are great. You should check everything out. I can't say enough nice things about them. Links in the show notes for all of that good stuff. A brief announcement before we dive in that if you haven't checked out the Kickstarter for Mission Accomplished, the role-playing game of super spies in office meetings, we are today at 192% at the time of me recording these words. I would love for today to be the day that we hit 200%, or for us to hit our 8,500 stretch goal, which is friend of the show, dear, dear friend of the show, Erica Chappell, writing us a special bonus mission dossier. You know Erica from the Trench Raiders, from Blackout, from Flying Circus. She is one of the most brilliant game designers working today, and I would love to see her work in Mission Accomplished. So, head to Kickstarter, check out Mission Accomplished, check the show notes for a link. It's a great game, and I think you're going to love it. With all that said, let's throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me.